great, that one.
Trying to give Spencer direction.
Okay, we're going to sit back up at the top, please.
We just did a stagger through, which is about 3 hours behind schedule. Hopefully it's all going to work out in the end when we go live at 5 o'clock. No pressure.
Fingers crossed. It's all going to happen.
I'm just changing bits, if he doesn't mind.
Like that?
Yeah. I'm pleased with that rehearsal, please.
Kind of, yeah, I just want these to be in.
They're in.
It's quite nerve-wracking at this point, but I'm excited.
There's a bit of a buzz on, isn't there?
Looking forward to it for weeks.
Why are you guys here today?
Because I just want to learn, really. See what all the new stuff going on.
Sure we shouldn't be there already?
Trust me, we're going to get there on time.
But Dundee's 500 miles away. The train's going to take hours. Even a flight's going to take too long. There is no way.
Seriously, I had a word with a guy. He knows a guy, and he said there's a shortcut. All we need to do is use this.
You need to get out more.
We just need to press start.
Goodness, Spencer, are you okay?
Yeah, just go with it.
Go with what? What the?
Right, follow me.
Okay, this is weird.
Come on.
Are you sure this is the most direct route?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Can we at least stop and ask for directions?
No need, I've got a map. It'll be fine. Over here.
Oh, you had it upside down, didn't you?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, this is more like it. Ah, Dundee. We should only be a couple of blocks away now.
Blocks. Nice, I see what you did there. Yeah, there it is. V&A Dundee.
Here we come!
From V&A Dundee, this is BBC Click Live. Please welcome your hosts, Lara Lewington and Spencer Kelly.
Yes, it's that time of year again where we leave the comfort of the Click offices and go live to the world. Or at least to a crowd of very eager tech fans.
V&A Dundee was the spectacular location for a show that took in everything from artificial intelligence to facial recognition. The museum not only celebrates the past, but also looks to the future.
Most people's idea of robots are shaped by the robots that they see in science fiction, so looking at film or TV or video games or music. But robots are a bit more real than what we think. So most children grow up, or now will grow up, with Siri or Alexa or some kind of smart helper in their life, and I think in the future that's just going to increase. We're going to have more robotic helpers helping our children and helping us, just increasingly more and more on an everyday basis.
Currently on display is the exhibition Design Between Human and Machine.
So rather than robots coming in and replacing us and replacing our jobs, I think the future is a bit more of an optimistic one. We've got an amazing structure, a commission that's been specially built here for us at V&A Dundee, and this is all about the idea of humans and robots collaborating together to create something amazing and wonderful, and I think that's a bit more what the future will be like, so slightly less pessimistic than what we imagine, I hope.
In recent years, Dundee has become something of a digital powerhouse. It's synonymous with video games like Lemmings, Grand Theft Auto, and, yes, Minecraft.
Dundee has the honour, we believe, of being the city in the world with the highest per capita volume of games developers. That's come around for a number of reasons. It started off, back in the 1980s, there was a lot of us programming away on Sinclair Spectrums that happened to be made in the city, so you could always pick one up ex-factory when they went slightly wrong for less than the cost of the shops. Some amazing video games came out of the city at that point, and that gave a lot of us the inspiration to go and set our own companies up.
The world's first video games degree was offered here by Vapour University all the way back in 1997. So we thought we'd check out some of their more recent work. All in the name of social interaction, of course. Why is Vapour University so hot on gaming?
So at Vapour, we are the staff have either previously made video games or we currently make video games, and we're all part of a research lab called Vapour Game Lab that make really fun experimental games to push the boundaries of computer gaming in different ways.
So you've got some other students playing some other of your games there over there. That game was created by Dr. Mona Bosdog, who sloped on with Lara.
Now, Mona, there are a lot of different games here, all telling interesting different stories. Can you tell me a bit about what you've created here?
Yes, so the game you see is called Assembly, right? And we're all in Dundee, and the year is 1981. And there's thousands of women in the Timex factory assembling the first ever computer, so the ZX81 and the ZX Spectrum. And these computers changed the face of games. That's basically a recreation of the assembly line, right? So we have the women workers trying to assemble the ZX Spectrum computers, from populating the boards to actually like packaging and shipping the ZX Spectrum.
This is actually a bit of social history here as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and it is what we usually call her stories, because they're alternative histories. They're the hidden figures of the video games industry and the video games history. And it was the women who assembled. They were tremendously skilled, and they basically brought us the first computers.
This eerie, stifling hot landscape looks otherworldly. But in reality, we're a couple of hours' drive north of Los Angeles. This area, known as the Coso Range, was formed by several volcanic eruptions almost 500,000 years ago. Back then, rivers would run through here, creating this dramatic, unpredictable terrain.
Now, I know we're in California, but I want you to picture somewhere completely different. I want you to imagine that I'm walking across the surface of the moon, because the technology we've come to see today is going to be put through its paces ahead of a groundbreaking lunar mission due to take place in the next decade, one which should teach us more about the moon than we've ever known.
This is a team from NASA's famous Jet Propulsion Lab, and this is Axel, a robot that might one day explore areas of the moon that have been untouched for billions of years. There are more than a dozen huge caverns found on the moon, created when lava flowed quickly over the surface and hardened, leaving a void underneath. Eventually, parts of that lava surface collapsed like a sinkhole. It's into these holes Axel will dive in for a closer look at the layers of rock beneath. Not only that, but the robot might discover locations suitable for human researchers to live on the moon for extended periods of time. But before that futuristic vision can be realised, Axel needs to be put through its paces in California.
So this particular design you're looking at, it's a two-wheeled rover that can operate upside down or right side up. And that's an important when you're getting over extreme terrain. You could be easily tipped the other way, and we want to be able to survive that. The other thing you notice that this has no steering wheels. It's the reason why it has two wheels, because it's differentially driven. So it can go along, can go forward and backward, but can also take turns
like a wheelchair,
and turn around.
So obviously we're not going to test this in the parking lot here, but it does mean that we've got to go 300 metres in that direction, and the only way to do that, I'm afraid, is to carry it.
This is a team which certainly knows what it's doing. They were involved in getting the incredible Mars rover to the Red Planet. The moon may seem like a shorter, simpler trip, but going back and getting deeper could unravel important mysteries.
We're specifically targeting this pit crater in the Sea of Tranquility. And this is something that they discovered only a few years ago. Some of the craters on the moon actually aren't your traditional impact craters. They're these very strange kind of vertical boreholes into the moon. And no one's exactly sure what those are, but what we do know is that there's a lot of geological history that's exposed there on the side of this crater wall.
If Axel does make it to the moon, it will be attached to a lunar rover, which will land a few hundred feet away from where the team wants to explore. Through that tether, Axel will get its power and instructions from the team, and it'll act like a rope as it abseils down into the moon's depths. Today, we of course don't have the lunar rover with us, and so Axel will be supported by a rock. This is tricky business. If it's not secure, we could see Axel plummet to the rocks below. It's a long, slow, nervous process, with a few hiccups along the way as Axel struggled with the unforgiving volcanic terrain. But it was mission accomplished. Axel was able to abseil its way down the cliff's edge, if only on Earth for now.
This would be the first rappelling rover ever to be fielded off-world. So if we can establish that technology and we can gain confidence in that, now we can start looking at places like Mars. They're a little harder to get to, but have lots of interesting questions that need answered.
And if it works, there's a whole galaxy of possibilities as to where Axel could go next.
And if you thought that was cool, well, I was lucky enough to be joined on stage by Axel's little brother, Puffer.
It's the pop-up flat-folding Explorer robot.
It's fallen over on Earth.
It's actually designed to take impacts like that. Those balloons you saw is the material that these are made out of that we've landed on Mars before.
Okay, wow, because this looks pretty flimsy.
Yes, well, this is similar to a bulletproof fabric. We take it and we fold it up, and that is that robot. And this origami shape takes the impacts very nicely.
Okay, so it's tougher than it looks. Now tell me what its real-world purpose is.
Well, this basically can take any instrument. This one's for a little micro-imager, so we can do any science that you're looking to do wherever you want to go. These aren't the only wheels we have for our two-wheel robots.
Okay, so if consumers were to buy one of these, because that is the aim, isn't it, what exactly would they be doing with it?
Well, we can do citizen science, so they can take them out into the field, they can have different sensors on them, and then we can get huge data sets that we can use to do state-of-the-art science here on Earth.
Okay, and how much would it cost? Because this looks like a pretty pricey bit of kit.
This one it's about $5,000 for the two wheels, but we could get them down to tens of dollars.
Okay, quite a difference. This isn't the only robot you've got with you.
No, it is not.
There's another one which is literally climbing the walls. Let's take a look at what we've got over here. What is this exactly?
This is our durable reconnaissance observation platform. You can tell it's a little bit of an eye that climbs up the wall, and you can see the controls right there. They can actually sense gravity. So it's climbing the lift shaft.
It's climbing quite nicely there, but what's it actually for?
What is it for? So it's for basically surveillance. This is an Earth application, but the same wheels we can put on these rovers, and we can climb 60-degree slopes on a Mars analog.
But you've also created something that's for digging beneath the surface. We're going to take a look at it here.
The future of robotics is underground. So this is our exobiology extant life surveyor that's trying to get through the open window that Cassini found on Enceladus, moon of Saturn, that goes right to an alien ocean.
How easy to break through is that surface, do you think?
This surface? Well, there's these active geysers or plume vents that we know are sourced from the ocean. So right here, we'll get our first taste and smell of an alien ocean.
A huge thank you to you, your colleagues from NASA who also came, and of course, to all the bots. We've got to be nice to them, I think.
Speaking.
Professor Annalou Waller has dedicated 30 years of her life to researching technologies to improve communication for those who have difficulty speaking. It's very much like the predictive text on your phone, but as we saw when we invited her onto the stage,
Words.
It can be a very slow process.
Minute.
Actually telling a story in real time is laborious, time-consuming. A lot of our folk who use communication aids only type at 8 to 10 words a minute. How on earth do you conduct a real conversation in that speed?
Analu's team, in partnership with Cambridge University, has created a new system that remembers what you've typed before and offers up whole sentence chunks in one go.
It's hard to find whole sentences to use as I speak.
As humans, we always retell stories. So what I'm telling you now, I've told many people before.
And this is where it gets even more clever. A body-worn camera observes where Analu is and who she's speaking to. It can then suggest sentences that are relevant to that situation.
So this is the computer vision brain behind our system. The camera I've got in my right hand here is the one the person wears around their neck, so the camera can see what they can see. They can see the person they're speaking to, so at the moment it sees me, and you can see on the screen it picks out my face to identify whether I'm a known person, whether I'm a friend, and if it knows me, who I am. It takes a guess from the whole environment it can see to say, where are we? Are we in a cafe, at work? And this information we then use to predict the right sentences I might want to say in this environment with this communication partner.
The more Analu uses it, the more it learns and the faster the system becomes.
And the system might think we're in a museum, I'm talking to a person I've never met before. That might be an opportunity to talk about my work. So it will bring up sentences I've used before to talk about my work so I can access them timely.
Stories are important because they provide the fundamental essence of being human. We are our stories. We are all very important people.
I mean, I know people that repeat themselves over and over again. I mean, I know people that repeat themselves over and over again.
We all do.
We were also lucky enough to be joined by the Minister for Public Finance and Digital Economy, Kate Forbes, and CEO of the Scottish Government-backed innovation centre, Data Lab, Gillian Doherty. For anybody who doesn't know what Data Lab do you just want to tell them a little about what it is, Gillian?
Sure, so the Data Lab is Scotland's innovation centre for data science and artificial intelligence, and ultimately it's about driving value for the whole country by leveraging our data better.
And you've already done some really life-changing partnerships, haven't you? Tell me about the cancer one.
We have, yes. So we've been working with the Beatson's Cancer Hospital on using computer vision technology to help the radiologists delineate tumours from healthy tissues and complex neck cancers. We've also worked across multiple of the health boards using data to improve patient-reported experience measures and outcome measures and integrate that with their clinical treatment as part of their unfortunate cancer journey.
But looking at some of the issues there are in Scotland today, high unemployment is of course one of them. How do you perceive technology affecting that? Because obviously there are pros and cons.
That's right, and technology is definitely going to disrupt the job market as we know it. But on the other hand, we also know that the technology sector in Scotland is constantly looking for new skills and talent. So our job is to match the people that are currently looking for work with the businesses and the organisations that are looking for those skills.
Jobs will change. There are jobs that we do now that didn't exist 20, 30, 40 years ago. And depending on the research you read, for our primary children, up to 60% of those children that are starting school right now will have jobs that don't even exist just now. So it's hard to get your mind around that, but whose grandmother was a search engine optimization specialist? Whose grandpa was a vlogger?
And you are two women working in technology. Do you really think that things are changing?
Very, very slowly. So they are changing, and we're seeing that in Scotland because closing the gender gap is key to what we're trying to achieve. But it's about going into primary schools and encouraging young women and girls to think that they can actually work in this sector and work in this area and see incredible role models.
Now, we all know about cars and pollution, right? But how about a vehicle where the more you drive it, the cleaner it makes the air? Well, the Hyundai Nexo claims to do just that. Where you'd normally have an engine, there's a fuel cell stack where hydrogen and oxygen combine to create the electricity that powers the car and charges the battery. But can it actually clean the air? Well, we braved the very cold Dundee air to put it to the test. So over here we have Robin Hales from Hyundai. Hi. Hey, what's going to happen?
So we're going to demonstrate how the filtration system of a Hyundai Nexo cleans the air as it drives along. What we're going to do is we've got a pump here, which we're going to add this, which is a jar of PM10 and PM2.5 particulate.
Nasty stuff.
Yeah, this is stuff that comes out of trucks, cars, buses.
So
as you're
that's
driving
soot and carbon and stuff
Yes.
like that?
Yeah.
All right, so no sniffing that then while we open the jar. We're going to bung that in now, aren't we?
Yeah, my colleague Mr. Shim here is going to add that into the system.
Keep your eye on what happens to the air as we do it.
You'll see there, you see the soot go into the balloon.
Look at that. That looks filthy. Imagine what would happen if you held this piece of white paper up to the exhaust of your petrol car. It's going to get pretty grey, isn't it? Give it a squeeze. Oh, yeah, it's quite satisfying, actually. Get as much air onto that as possible, and let's just see. Smells all right, I have to say. All right, let's have a look. Show that to the camera. That's marvellous. So pretty much, yeah, there's pretty much nothing on there. So that's good. We can show you what the car has filtered out of the air. So let's have the clean filter in. This is what the filter looked like when it went into the car. We've taken this one out of the car now, and can you see the difference? Yeah, so that's what it sucked out of the air in the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's all the particulates out of the air. So that's everything in that jar is now on that filter.
Nice. Now, there's one other thing that hydrogen cars produce, and that's water vapour, which you're assuring me is very, very clean. Is that right?
It's very clean. I'll show you how clean.
All right, so we're going to get a glass of water, or as it's known in Dundee, ice, out of the ball. And you think that is very, very clean water?
Yeah, that's pure water. So this isn't tap water. This isn't bottled water you get in the shop. This is 100% pure water.
And Robin assures me it's so pure that you can drink it and you don't keel over. So, well, go on then. You said it. Go on, give us a bit plasticky, but better than some supermarket bottles. 3, 2, 1, push!
Back inside, and a Click Live show wouldn't be a Click Live show without waving, shouting, and generally getting a bit overexcited.
All that remains is to thank everyone who turned up to see us live, and of course you at home for watching. From all of us here at Click, we hope you have a very happy new year.
Go, 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 yes!